Welcome back everyone to Fire Emblem. We are going to do this mission, which is absolutely chock full of berserkers for some reason. I don't remember the berserkers being in Hector's normal mode, but maybe I'm full of shit. I might be full of shit now that I think about it. Maybe we were all full of berserkers. I could have sworn there were generals in here instead, like generals and snipers sort of thing. So, I bought a while back in the secret shop, many moons ago, I bought a treasure key, treasure key that works on up to 5 treasure chests, without having multiple instances of a treasure chest key. So that allows me to do this level without bringing in a thief or assassin to unlock it. So as a fun added-on little bonus here, apparently these guys have some variation of double axes and looks like sword reavers, and I'm guessing they probably also have hero axes or brave axe or whatever it's called, that allows them to hit 2 times as much as they normally can. I'm also guessing that there's going to be some guys that are going to run around with crit axes, you know, the whatever they call that, killer axe. Double axes are dangerous. I don't like them. I don't use them because there's a % chance that's sort of baked in that the devil axe will backfire on you. Unfortunately, you also have to hit for that to work, I think. So, excuse me, we will see. Good old Hector, he's gonna take care of this. So I brought my lords in because I need Elwood, primarily Hector, to get closer to 20. Lynn was brought along because I figured she might be good against berserkers, but I didn't realize that the berserkers would, because I didn't bother to look. Didn't realize the berserkers, some of the berserkers have sword reavers, so gonna, like I said, just sort of keep an eye out for that. That's a good level up. Next level up, actually. I also noticed that maybe he can't maybe I'm out of his range. I was gonna say, I'm surprised that none of the guys that are holding double axe. Yeah, we should be able to do this without much trouble. I'm not sure the double axe is gonna hit me at all, but I'm kind of nervous about it because it is, again, the double axe that is very likely to fucking mess my day up. Either way, I'm also futilely attempting to try to get Elwood's lance skill up to S. I don't think it's gonna happen. Some guys are rounding tomahawks too, great. So I'll have to watch out for ranged tomahawk users now. That guy has a tomahawk. Great. Alright, well, we'll take care of what we can take care of and worry about the rest later. So the plan here is I'm going to attempt to draw some of the fire away from... that's 44 damage if it hits both times. The weird thing about berserkers, and this is actually the first time I've actually fought a real berserker in this game, because when you go to get Hector's weapon, the guy that you fight is a hero, not a berserker. Or a warrior? Is it a warrior? It might be a warrior. not a berserker. This is the first time I'm fighting a berserker in this game. They're all over 6. They're bosses you have to fight in 6. And you'll start running into them way earlier than you should. You know, like when we're playing Lince mode and all of a sudden we're running into a paladin. And we're like, why are you a paladin? Yeah, but I'm not really planning on using anyone in specific to get them up to 20. We're just gonna play the level as we play the level. It's not gonna be too nuts. I'm not gonna focus down on making sure that Eliwood gets to 20 or that Hector gets closer to 20. I am noticing, however, that when I defeat one of these enemies, I'm getting like a regular, normal amount of experience. Like that right there is a normal amount of experience for fighting that character. And this is the normal amount of experience that you get normally. Well, that's actually a little bit more than normal. It's like a little above normal. That'd be like if you were a underclassed unit, you fought a recently promoted unit, you would get about, you know, 25 or 50 experience. What that felt like. So of course I didn't bring anyone with me. What am I trying to say? I didn't bring any mages with me because obviously would not make sense to bring them because as far as I know I'm not able to get a bolting or long range spell for my mages. So even if I had like, oh, that was a really good level up. Wow. Even if I was able to get a bolting spell, I'm not sure the range would be long enough to reach him, and then I don't think I would do any damage even if I could. So appreciate that they do give you those little small slivers in case for some reason you absolutely have to rely on a healer. So you bring a healer in with either the very basic of rod spells, or maybe even a psychic. Go from there. When you crit, you just make me look like an idiot. You know? I'm sitting here going, well, Hector's been damaged. Should I heal him? Should I attack? Well, if I attack, then he can attack me back, maybe, and then he'll die. And, yeah, then he does something stupid. Well, that was actually dumb. I should have gone towards the treasure chest there. I shouldn't have gone down. Anywho. Okay, that's good. Maybe some guys, yeah, I was about to say, there should probably be a guy with a tomahawk here, throwing shit. Not surprising to me anyways. Alright, we're gonna bring you up. You're going up, 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 up. There's a sword slayer. I'm sure that will not be important later, ... I had 2 really good level ups, that was a shit one right there. Be 56. Little did Christopher know that was a tomahawk. Little did Christopher know he's gonna have to restart this level because she just critted. Or not. I thought you also had a tomahawk. Killer axe. Okay, you did not have a tomahawk then. You both have killer axe. That's why. Okay. I got you now. Gotcha. That'll do. That'll kill. I love how I look at these percentages and go, am I willing to risk a 20% chance of hitting me? I'm not sure. Seems like a big gamble. There's a 20% chance that if we were to do this 10 times, I would get hit 2 of those 10 times. Please stop hitting Oswin. It makes me sad. Okay, you apparently do not move. Or I'm just outside your range, one or the other. I did notice some of the guys look like they're blocking doorways, so you can't just sneak by them. And others are designed to move up as soon as you get into their range. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. This is Fortify. I will likely not use Fortify, but that's nice to have. Well, you never know. I can definitely equip the Fortify on both Archsage Athos as well as Priscilla, and then have a lower level spell maybe on like either Urk or Pent. Unfortunate part is I'm gonna have to bring Pent and Louise in again. I kind of say that in a way where I don't mind bringing Pent in. He seems pretty capable of taking care of himself. Oh, but Louise is so shitty. It's not even funny. But anyways, I gotta bring them in because the last of the of their things occurs. The what do you call that? Conversations, their support conversations, because they start out at A, I guess, to indicate, hey, these people are married. Hey, that's what happens when you hit A. They either become best buddies or they get married. In later games, they add an S tier to it, so that it indicates that, hey, you can have a gay relationship now. It's not implying necessarily that you get married if you A tier them. I'm gonna tackle a project this summer. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do and how far I want to go in on that project. The projects in my house are as follows, okay? And right now, zero things need to be done right now at this exact second, okay? However, I'm getting to the point where certain items are going to need to start getting done sooner rather than later. So, on the smaller end of the projects that I need to look at Ooh, rune sword. Interesting. The lower end of the projects that I need to look at is I gotta paint my... I have a set of steps out front that lead to my front door. I need to paint those. Or stain them in some capacity, because it's sort of like a regular wood color. Like an unfinished wood color. Even though it does have a sealant and a finish on it. It doesn't match my other neighbors, so I think I'm gonna try to paint it a color that matches my house. Second on that list is I may redo my deck, and this is where I'm sort of hesitant, not because it's how deep do I want to go into this project. Okay, so outside my house I have a deck, and when you walk out on the deck, you know you're going basically flat. So if you were in, say, a wheelchair, not that you would necessarily get into my house with a wheelchair because of, like I said, my front steps, but if you were in my living room and you were to go out on my deck, you could go outdoor by a wheelchair and not have any issue getting out on the deck. Okay, other than there's a lip to keep the water from flowing into the house. Minor problem. Okay, so once you're out on my deck, if you go to the left of my deck to get to the rest of the deck, the boards are starting to peel, like i.e. they're starting to warp upwards where they're pulling at the corners where the nails were holding it down, and I kind of want to replace that. But the question is, do I want to go so far as to just put down new decking, or do I want to out and out replace the entirety of the deck? And the reason I say that again is because if you go out my door and you turn left, there's a step there. So you're level to the ground when you first leave, but if you want to go out to the open end of the deck, you have to take a step up. And I'm thinking about maybe lowering that so that it's all on one level, you know, so that that whole deck area is flat, and then put some sort of like Trex type carbon, whatever, plastic decking that is. And then by doing so, it'll allow me to not have to go back and have to, you know, refinish the wood every couple years, you know, seal it, protect it, that sort of stuff. As well as it'll be a big upgrade to my house because now it'll look nicer. And then of course I'd replace the railings as well. But like I said, one of the things I was looking at doing was sort of getting that deck in a way that I prefer it. But the question is, how much is that going to cost? Now, you know, doing the just, you know, pulling the old boards up, putting new like decking down, can probably be a couple $1,000s. Now, if I add on, you know, straight to the ground stuff, then it's going to be even more than that. Second project I'm looking at is updating my bathrooms. Got kind of a tiny bathroom in comparison. Like when you think of your main bathroom, at least whenever I think of main bathroom, I think of like you have a sink, you have a toilet, you have a shower / bathtub. Okay. Imagine if you could literally, and this is a bad example, it's a very cramped bathroom. Essentially, you have a sink, and sitting directly to its left is the toilet, and sitting directly to the left of that is the tub. And you have this sort of narrow one-person walkway to use the sink, the toilet, and then the shower, again, is at the end of this bathroom area. And while I could update that bathroom, I've also thought about maybe expanding that out a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. Only because there's not really any room for towels and shit. And the townhouse I live in has 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1 half bath. So that's pretty good for most people. But I'm thinking, like, if I had like 2 kids, where would we put all of our towels? We'd have to literally keep them in our rooms. We wouldn't be able to hang them up in the bathroom. But I suppose that's a problem in every house, isn't it? In my parents' house, my parents have 4 bedrooms, two full baths, 1 half bath. And even then, it's a little cramped to hang up your towels in the bathroom. But the reason I say that is I'm going back between one of those two is the interior bath is something I see and use every day. The exterior deck is something my neighbors see every day. So on the one hand, by putting up, by updating, you know, by staining my front walkway and updating my deck, I make the outside of my house look a lot nicer. You know, not only to myself, but to my neighbors and people that, I don't know, maybe want to buy my house at some point in the distant future. On the other hand, I mean, I don't use my outside deck all that much, you know, so in a way it doesn't matter to me, you know. I mean, the deck's nice to have. Get outside in the afternoon, the evening, the sun's on the opposite side of the house, so that's, I'm not on the wrong, I'm not, like, what I'm trying to say is I'm not on the wrong side of the house, wrong side of the building to build a deck for. I mean, it's a perfect, you know, perfect location for a deck in that, but I don't know. I probably should have brought, just getting back to the game since I haven't really been talking about it, I probably should have brought Oswin back. I thought that originally thought that they were going to spawn in just next to Elowood. I thought they were just going to spawn in the Valkyrie that we were, you know, in Hector's normal mode, and because the Valkyrie are within the range of the magic seal, they wouldn't be able to attack me. I sort of should have assumed that with all of the berserkers I'm running into, that only berserkers would spawn. But yeah, it is what it is, right? So now I've got Elowood, who can take 1 more tomahawk shot before he will be in critical condition. So if he takes, say, these 2 guys to my left, both of those guys hit, Elowood's dead. If the one of those tomahawks hit and the guy up to the north hits, I'm dead. So I may have to retreat Elowood out. Again, I should have moved Oswin earlier in all of this. You know, make it sort of like what I'm doing with Lynn. Here is to make it a, you know, 2v2 thing. So if Harkin doesn't hit, then Lynn can hit, or if Lynn does hit, he can finish it off, you know. That's good. Crits are always good. Merlinus, you can stay here. I'm trying to use him to pull one of the tomahawk guys off. That's really not going to happen. Brave Sword was insurance policy to make sure that anything I attack dies. Miss. Gotcha. Yeah, I was running out of percentages there, Chris. Eventually the tomahawk will hit again. Even if it only has a 13% chance, eventually it will hit. So I'm imagining the reinforcements here are going to stop soonish, maybe another couple turns. And then once we get into the locked door where the magic seal is, I imagine we'll have a round of people spawning in there just like in Hector's normal. But by doing this, at least we're able to delay and gang up on some of these guys, I guess. What else is there to talk about? I'm sort of running out of things to talk about. I've been mentioning the same Fire Emblem things I've been mentioning in the last couple episodes, so I'm gonna not mention them again because it's just getting repetitive. What else? The NFL draft was this past weekend. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be weekend, past tense. I'm not going to talk about that at all because at some point things are going to change in the subsequent rounds. You know, 4th, 5th, 6th round will change and people will get drafted. Big story right now, and I kind of understand and I kind of don't. Shamar Sanders is he didn't get drafted in the first. I don't think he got drafted in any one of the first 3 rounds. Means like, okay, either someone's gonna get one hell of a deal or he has too much baggage. I think because of his dad, Deion Sanders, I think he just has too much. There's too much there. If he had gone to a school where Deion was not his head coach and he was coming out with the kind of results that he did in Colorado, I think people would be more impressed. I think there would be some reservation about drafting him only because if you draft him, you're bringing Deion Sanders tangentially into your program. And not that I have any problem with Deion Sanders at all, but he was very much he was one of those things that my grandfather did not like, that I wouldn't say is not commonplace anymore, but the whole braggart thing, you know, like this is I guess I don't want to get too far into this, but this is, you know, back in the day you would compete. Okay, you'd compete. The one that I always will reference is baseball. You compete in baseball. You know, you're up at bat and you hit a home run. And the thing that you would do when you hit a home run is you put your head down, you just run around the bases. You keep your head down because you just hit a home run off a pitcher. You know, no one likes to give up a home run. And, you know, in all likelihood, the home run's going to probably be the difference between, in many games, it's going to be the difference between winning and losing, you know. Being able to add 2 or so extra home runs, not home runs, and 2 or 3 extra runs in a game is probably going to be the deciding factor. It's going to make the pitcher angry, so you're not going to really want to show off. And I know that's a different era back in the day. You know, like I'm thinking Mickey Mantle off the top of my head. It's a different era. I wasn't alive for that era, mind you, but my dad was really into baseball, so I learned a lot about. And then obviously the Ken Burns documentary as well that came out in the 90s. I've watched completely through like 2 times, I think, both when I was younger and then again later on, just sort of something to do on a, you know, a day off, or not a day off, but, you know, free time, you know, watch the whole thing again. It's really well done, but as with any documentary, yeah, I mean, how deep do you want to go? I mean, he just kind of skimmed the surface of a lot of things. It was very New York-centric, you know, which makes sense early baseball when most of the teams are located in the Northeast, with some, you know, going out into the Midwest. But that storyline continued even through the 60s and 70s, long after the Giants and the Dodgers had left. And the Braves and, you know, teams expanded across the United States, is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, the whole bragger thing that I'm trying to talk about is, you know, baseball, you would hit the home, if you hit a home run, you'd put your head down, you run your bases, because you knew that the pitcher was going to be looking for retaliation. You don't want to give him any reason to retaliate. Because you'll you're not guaranteed to get plunked next time, but you're probably gonna get the ball plunked. And if you're really, really bad, I mean, if you're playing by these rules of etiquette, quote unquote sports etiquette, we'll put it right in your buttocks. A lot of meat, not gonna do any physical damage probably, other than it's gonna sting for a little bit. If he's really angry at you, he's gonna put it right at your head. And no helmet time period, that's dangerous. It's not great. That's unsportsmanlike at very least. Anywho, so you know, you get into the 80s and the 90s, and you get a lot of this, you get a lot more showmanship. You know, Dion was one of them. There were others. I think of college football when I think of Miami. You know, in terms of like, just kind of, we're playing a whole different level of football, and you guys can either keep up with us, or we can just leave you in the dust. And when we're done, we're gonna I don't know how to explain it. We're going to basically rub it in your face when that happens. We're gonna you know, get up. We're gonna do a little dance, a little celebration dance. And that was something they were trying to get out of the NFL. You know, the touchdown dances, the whole 9 yards, and they used to penalize you pretty much for a lot of stuff. And then they started getting more laxed on it because people kind of liked, as you know, some of the older generation passed away. They started liking the showmanship, you know, and now it's just part of the game. You can't go overboard, obviously. There's still a limit to it, but like, you know, I think of not just wide receivers, or you know, the people that you know can be wide receivers tend to have a little bit of a complex, I guess. I'm generalizing here. There are plenty of normal wide receivers, but you tend to get the Deion Sanders, the what's his face? I'm trying to think of his name. Terrell Owen. You know, they got to be the star of the show, sort of thing. In a lot of cases, they are the star of the show because they have that speed that nobody can catch them, and you're gonna go to them 6-7 times, maybe more a game, to try to not only get the first down, but you know, score touchdowns and win the game. And they are the sort of the star, if you will, if the quarterback can put it right where the receiver is. But yeah, I mean, it's all over the NFL now. It's not just, you know, back in the day, this is what they did. But, you know, you watch a running back run, you know, 3 or 4 yards, maybe hard-fought yards, or maybe 15 yards, really easy scamper up the left side, and they you know, they're tackled, and they get up on one knee, and they do the first down, you know, thing where the referee takes his arm and goes like that. I know you can't see me, but the first down sign where their arm starts at their shoulder, and you're basically pointing in the direction where the first down's going. And it's all over the place, and it's part of the game now. I mean, you're not just gonna get back in the huddle and line up for another one. So some people do that. And that kind of shit's like, it's its own brag in its own way. You know, you're I think running back mainly, but you could be a quarterback or tight end, and you're not in any sort of hurry up offense. You're not under 2 minutes or anything. But you snap the ball, you get your 3 yards, you get up, you get back in the huddle. You don't celebrate, you know, you're doing your work. That can be its own thing, but I mean, in terms of playing the mental game, trying to get underneath the people's under your skin, yeah, that's a great way to do it. And when you're under their skin, they're not thinking about the game. They're not thinking about what they need to do, and they make mistakes. And that's why it's so important. Or that's why it's effective, is what I should say. So we should be near the end of these berserkers here. I'm hoping. Another round or so of them. And then we'll focus down on killing Kashuna. And yeah, that'll be about it for this. Obviously want to kill him as quickly as possible. And I've been trying to bleed him with Harkin as we go. Only because I don't want to sit around here for 3 extra turns trying to kill the unkillable. I mean, he's not unkillable by any stretch, but... shoot him with the bow! Oh, well, he's dead. I think they'd vary up those berserkers a little bit more so that the sword reaver would be on Hector's side more than just switching between Killer Axe and Devil's Axe. Or Shuno. Nope. That's a nope. You see, that was a 57% chance. That's a nope. Don't need to connect here. Do it. Do it. Do it. Ah, shit. Alright, that worked. Sweet. Alright, we got another turn here and then he'll be dead. Let's finish him off with Elwood. Alright, he's gone now for good. Next time we'll be on the last level.